What's up, Eagles Nation? It's your boy Showtime 804, aka LA. Back at it like we never left. Now, this week is important for us. You know, this is Dallas week. This is probably the biggest game that we've been waiting for all year. Even though it's not under the ideal circumstances, just being able to beat Dallas alone, bring a smile to every Eagle fan's face across the world. Um, they've been riddled with injuries, but so have we, and we kind of rose to the occasion. It just lets you know how their team was built. That they weren't built for this. We stuck with the mantra of the next man up for the last couple of years, and throughout that we've battled through some adversities. With this game Sunday night, I'm glad they didn't flex it, even because of the records between, what's going on with our division. It's been a lackluster performance this year, and that's mainly because of the injuries. They got a rookie quarterback, Ben DiNucci, and the Dallas team and media, they're trying their best to hype this guy up. But remember, he is a 7th-round pick for a reason. And this is going to be the week that Jim Schwartz can't just, rest with just bringing the 4. Even though their offensive line is abysmal and banged up, they may be getting some guys back this week. But with that, we just need to apply that pressure from the first get-go. I'm talking about we get the ball. If we need to, if we win the toss, we need to defer, give them the ball so we can get the ball back at half. I'm talking about sending relentless pressure. One good thing that has started off with the Eagles this week is that Nate Gerry is listed on the injury report with a bad ankle. So him not playing, that may be the blessing that we need for this week. With like I said, with the pressure as far as Jim Schwartz. Now they do have weapons on the outside with Cooper, Gallup, and Lamb. And they still got Zeke, so we need to keep everything close to that line of scrimmage as much as possible. We can't have this quarterback, sitting back, getting in some kind of rhythm. No zone coverage this week. Send the house, send the pressure in every play. Do not let him get comfortable, because all it takes for a young quarterback is just that little spark where anything can, open up for him, and he can start seeing the game better than what it is. Now, as far as us offensively, we need to call up Elijah Holyfield this week. Boston Scott played good against the Giants, but again, that's the Giants. And I know the Dallas defense is bad, but the one thing that they're lacking is the interior rush and interior presence, period. So the only person they have on the defensive line, I think, is Tyrone Crawford. They just cut ties with Dontari Poe today. They traded Everson Griffin on yesterday. So things as far as for Dallas on the defensive side is horrible. They're playing out of position. They're trying to run a 4-3 scheme, and Mike Nolan is a 3-4 defensive coordinator. So coming into the year, I knew that was going to be a mistake. They're trying to fit the round peg in the square hole, and it just wasn't going to work. They didn't get any help on the outside. They let Byron Jones walk without bringing in a viable replacement. They brought in HaHa Clinton Dix in the offseason to shore up the back end, and they cut him before the season even started. So that lets you know that the shambles that they're running in on defense. They still have their linebackers, Jalen Smith, Vander Esch, and Sean Lee supposed to come back. But without those front 4 to protect those guys, it's just going to be a hard day for them. And this is why I said if we get Miles Sanders can, run the ball effectively. But we need Elijah Holyfield in this game, or somewhat of a bigger back. It's too late. They haven't made any moves yet, so they're probably not going to sign anybody. With the trade deadline coming up, that's what I think we need to look into. Is going to be a suitable running back replacement, or a running back option, I should say. Because Boston Scott is what he is. He's going to be a 3rd down back, change of pace back. As far as Corey Clement, if we just limit him to special teams, that's where he needs to stay at. And wide receivers, we're doing good. I think that this is going to be another breakout game for Travis Fulgham. I'm anticipating, a big game from him. Although this doesn't need to be that game where Carson Wentz has to throw the ball 30, 40 times to try to make a whole lot happen. We just need a balanced attack. We should be able to beat this team single-handedly, pretty evenly, without, employing too much of a dramatic scheme this week. Just keep it short and simple. and towards the middle of the season, we got a bye next week, and our team is starting to get healthy. Now, with this health that we're seeing, it does pose some problems because somewhere along the line, our coaching staff isn't using the entire sides of their brain, because they're actually going to move Jordan Mailata from his spot at left tackle. Now, Jason Peters has his best years are behind him, and by him coming back from missing the last 4 games, they're going to put him back at left tackle. And I think that is a huge mistake. We saw that what happened last year, and which is why Andre Dillard regressed this season and this offseason, was because he held his own against Khalil Mack and Everson Griffin last year against the Bears and Vikings respectively. He didn't give up any sacks in those games. And what happened? Jason Peters missed those games, and the young guy was thrown to the fire, and he was forced to step up and play some big minutes in those games. And then, like on schedule, when Jason Peters came back, he went back to the bench, and that pretty much regressed his progression as he should have had. And the same thing with Jordan Mailata. He got thrown into the fire. Jason Peters was out, and all of the replacements were actually, moved around on the line. So we needed him to step up and step up big, and he did so. And so to see him to move around again, it is very disheartening, and it just doesn't bode well for our scouting team, and the way our front office is handling the roster spots. Now, Lane Johnson is unsure about this game, but moving Jordan Mailata to right tackle after he's already shown you that he can be the left tackle of the future is wrong. I think Jason Peters, he started off the year practicing at right guard, so I think he needs to go to right tackle. He kind of threw Andre Dillard under the bus last year because of the same issue against, I believe it was the Seattle game or the Dallas game, where they put him at right tackle, and Jason Peters was under the impression, if they needed me to play right tackle, I would have played over there. But so we see this thing, and I'm not so sure that even putting Jason Peters at guard is a correct decision. Like I've stated in some earlier videos, Jason Peters is usually going up against defensive ends around the 260 to 280 mark, and you put him up against those kind of guys where he can overpower them, but they beat him on the speed. You can see where that takes place. But to put him at guard against bigger defensive tackles that are going to be in the 300 to 320 pound range, and he can't really overpower them as much. It shows that it's just time to move on. If he needs to be a swing tackle, or just to put him in a backup role, because it's pretty selfish, because he can look at himself in the mirror and see that, if he comes back and takes this kid's starting spot, that he's being selfish. He knows that that's going to hurt the team. But it's, outside of that, Alshon Jeffrey, again, not playing this week. More calf injuries after the foot injury that kept him sidelined for so long. And he's still not on the injury reserve or, the PUP list. And we're just holding up another roster spot for him. He's also one, I don't know if they're trying to trade him or not. Don't see anybody trading for him just because of his cap hit this year. But it's just time to move on, because it does seem that, Carson stated that he wanted to have some younger wide receivers that he can grow with. And it looks like that's what we're seeing on the field now. Jalen Reagor's supposed to come back. You kind of saw the dynamic that he brought in that Washington game. But again, that was his first game. So now he's got, he got a taste of the NFL speed. More good things are going to come for him. Hightower's breaking loose for at least a 50-yard game, every 50-yard gain for the last 3 weeks. So I don't see any reason why that's going to stop. Greg Ward has been reliable. Even Richard Rodgers stepped up. And I thought he was just no more than a camp body. But he's pretty much solidified his position. He's almost past Zach Ertz in yardage this year alone. Dallas Goedert is coming back. I think for some of those guys that have been missing for the last couple of weeks, I think it's best to just kind of, keep them on a pitch count, whatnot, or just keep them limited for the game, only for emergency purposes, because we got a bye week next week, and we need to get guys healthy as much as possible. And I do see us being buyers in the trade deadline. I think linebacker has to be addressed. Some of the names that have been floating around is, I believe, Williamson from the Jets and Cunningham from the Texans. Both of those teams are, pretty much done for. They're tanking. The Texans especially need as many assets as they can get because of Bill O'Brien has, depleted that team with draft picks. So, trading Cunningham for a mid-round pick, I'm all for that. That shows up the second level of our defense. That's what we need. It was a mistake to try to float those younger guys out there. They're very inexperienced. And we need as much a veteran presence on the field as possible. And especially moving forward, it's going to get colder. And the smaller linebackers that we have, you don't want them, in charge of trying to tackle some of the bigger running backs that we're going to face. I saw a report that says that we have the third easiest schedule to close the season out. I don't see how, especially when we have that murderous road part of the schedule that we have to hit. Seattle, Green Bay, New Orleans, Arizona. That's going to tell how we're going to go into the playoffs, because I do see us making the playoffs just because everybody else is just so depleted. We just need to get healthy at the right point in time, which we are doing, and just keep everything simple for Carson. If you see him, we are having success. Excuse me, having success with him rolling out the pocket and improvising. Have that in the playbook so he can do it, so he's just not standing back in the pocket, waiting to get hit. He's making things happen as he's on the move and improvising. That was a big strength of his game coming from college, his ability to throw on the move and things like that. So that's, a step in the right direction. I still think, all of these offensive analysts and consultants that we've hired, something needs to change around the bye week. So I'm glad that that's coming up. Like I said, we get a chance to get healthy. We get to bring some guys back. And this is just the time to take off, like how we do. When we get towards the colder months, that's when it seems like our team takes off and plays the best football that they know how to do. Especially Doug Peterson in that regard. Once it gets colder, something clicks in his brain as to he knows how to coach again. But like I said, we got this bye week coming up. Don't want to look past Dallas. They still are Dallas. It's just they have just a rookie quarterback. But we just got to go out here and take care of business. It is Sunday night football. I wish we could be in the black for this game. But, we only have one good game a year in black. The second game is usually where we tend to mess things up. But we just got to go out here and beat Dallas. It is Dallas week, and you already know how we respond to Dallas. They got to come to the link. We need to go ahead and send them back home crying. Let them, if they need to fire some coaches, because that's what we do. We get those coaches. We get coaches fired when they come to Philly. But I'm going to go ahead and jump off on this one. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're going to get this gang moving. Philadelphia, let's go do this. Get this W. Bird Gang, we out.